Hillary hunkers down after bombshell reports suggest her pals at the Department of State tried to cut a deal with the FBI. They pressured the FBI to make that whole email scandal kind of disappear.
What's taking place is illegal between Justice Department and the FBI and Secretary of State. It's totally illegal. It's a criminal act.
The State Department spokesperson John Kirby here to respond to that and the allegations.
Yeah, we always love seeing the Admiral, and stunning new video showing the dangers our officers face every day. A criminal slamming a cop's head into the pavement because she doesn't fight back because she's afraid of the media attention. An iPhone video. How do you do your job that way?
Oh, boy.
We'll examine that and all law enforcement, because keep in mind, Fox and Friends starts right now.
I don't quite get it. It's supposed to be record high hot here today.
Yeah.
It's going to be hotter in New York than Las Vegas, which we're going to right after the show.
Suits me just fine.
I don't know whose idea it was to put Earth on its axis, but we keep spinning around, rotating the weather. It's working out great so far.
Toasty.
Absolutely. You know I speak a bunch of languages. For example, quid pro quo. It's a bombshell just 21 days before the presidential election, if America's paying attention.
What does quid pro quo mean again?
It means something Greek.
I do something for you, you do something for me. Brand new documents confirming an attempt to cover up classified information found on Hillary Clinton's private email server.
And Donald Trump says that's breaking the law. It's a felony. Fox News senior national correspondent John Roberts is live in Las Vegas, where we are heading shortly with the very latest. John.
Steve, good morning to you. Don't be dissing the weather here in Las Vegas, because right now at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's absolutely beautiful here. You can actually be outside, not have to spend all day in the casino like I know you're going to, Steve. Good morning to you, Ainsley and Brian as well. Donald Trump, with a day to go until the last big debate here, the election season, believes that he has got an issue that he can actually make some headway on and clear the decks of all of the other news that has been dogging his campaign for the last week or so. This idea that the WikiLeaks email dump shows that the Undersecretary of State Patrick Kennedy apparently offered a quid pro quo to the FBI, offering them some more slots in countries overseas where they have a difficult time finding representation if they change the classification on some of Hillary Clinton's emails. It was a big topic of his speech last night in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Listen to this.
The FBI documents that show Undersecretary of State Patrick Kennedy made the request for altering classification as part of a quid pro quo. In other words, a deal. This is felony corruption by any standard. Undersecretary Kennedy needs to resign.
And now Donald Trump is calling on Congress to launch an investigation into all of this right away. And in an interview with our Carl Cameron yesterday in Green Bay, was very critical of Republicans for not acting more quickly on this. Listen to what he told Carl.
I think it's crazy what's going on. It's totally illegal. It's a criminal act. It's a crime. And I hear the Republicans are going to hold hearings after the election. Why would you hold them after the election? You want to hold those hearings before the election. But this is a criminal act, and it's incredible that they can do this and get away with it.
Now, this is an issue that Donald Trump may be able to get some traction on, Ainsley, Brian, and Steve, because, lo and behold, this is one of the lead stories in both the New York Times and the Washington Post today. So the mainstream media is paying attention to it. Back to you.
All right, John Roberts out in Las Vegas, where, as he just said, it's really pretty and delightful at 3 o'clock in the morning.
But, Steve, I would say this to John Roberts' point. This is what happens when you don't go stay under the wire if you're Donald Trump. You're not saying anything like drug testing Hillary Clinton or doing something that would smother that story. Without that story being smothered, it becomes front page news.
He's staying on message, and the message is, hey, it looks like quid pro quo, because that's what they said. They actually said quid pro quo. Meanwhile, that's a depiction of Hillary Clinton. She's hunkering down.
In a World War I helmet.
It's her Bunker Hill as she prepares for the debate. Pressure and quid pro quo to declassify. Security detail hates her also. She stole a bunch of furniture. And every Wednesday there's a shadow government that has aided her. They're the people over at the State Department who are figuring out which emails to release. You can't make it up, folks.
It's unbelievable. And then you wonder why the media, they say the media is rigged, the mainstream media. Melania Trump talked about that with me yesterday. Well, when you look at the donations of all the journalists that are giving money to the different campaigns, which many people say you shouldn't be doing that as a journalist because you should be fair. But look at this. Journalists have given almost $400,000 to Hillary Clinton compared to Donald Trump's $14,000. That's 27 to 1.
And part of the WikiLeaks dump shows that a political reporter named Glenn Thrush, who did a great ebook, was actually very critical of Barack Obama early on in his first term. He essentially was sending his story to John Podesta to edit before it actually posted.
Fact check this for me.
Wow.
Plus, Chuck Todd apparently had a big swanky dinner party for a high-ranking government official on the Democrat side. The funny thing is, Chris Cillizza over at the Washington Post tweeted, "Reporters don't root for a side, period." He took a lot of blowback online for that because, according to this result from the Center for Public Integrity, I mean, look at that. 96% of the donations thus far recorded have gone to the Democrat rather than the Republican, including apparently Hillary Clinton friend Larry King donated the maximum, $2,700, because he said he disagrees with Donald Trump on abortion and immigration. And remember Carol Simpson, who was the first African-American woman to moderate a debate? She also has donated the maximum to Hillary Clinton. So it does look like the Fourth Estate is pulling for Hillary.
There's also a reporter at ESPN. There was a reporter with the New Yorker.
Yeah.
They were both writing things. They had not only gave money, but they were writing negative stories or negative tweets about Donald Trump.
Yeah, and even on the late night shows, I watched Stephen Colbert last night. His whole monologue, the whole thing was anti-Trump, brutal anti-Trump. Then he does a friendly interview with Barack Obama, then brings on Bill O'Reilly.
Shocking, isn't it?
But I mean, that's 20 minutes. The Jimmy Fallon, Johnny Carson, Jay Leno template is the way you do it. Equal opportunity offender.
You
It
hope.
just confirms what everyone already knew.
Yeah. Meanwhile, of course, Donald Trump has taken a lot of heat ever since that NBC, it sure looks like, strategically timed the release of that Billy Bush bus video. And then it was going to come out on the same day as the hurricane, and then somebody at NBC News leaked it to the Washington Post. Well, now, because Billy looked bad, NBC facing a PR nightmare, it looks like they have fired him, and it looks like, according to TMZ, because he was making $3.5 million a year, he had just started a brand new 3-year contract, he probably got about a $10 million deal to walk away from the job.
So wait a second. So an off-mic moment that was done years before he got the job at NBC, after doing a great job at Access Hollywood, because he's phenomenal, he gets fired after initially saying he was fine. So NBC had this tape, they knew it existed, still gets the job, and then gets fired because of how it's being perceived.
Let us know what you think about this. We were talking about it this morning. Do you think that he could have kept his job and it would have been okay? I mean, many people were saying he was egging on Donald Trump to do that, but was it just innocence? I mean, was he being innocent and
remember, Ainsley,
trying to play along?
The original idea over at NBC was to take the videotape and edit Billy Bush out.
Right.
Take the embarrassing stuff out, but because the hurricane was messing up all their plans, they leaked the whole tape, and that's how come Billy Bush got in big trouble. And the reason they had to pay him the full contract, it looks like, was because everybody had heard Billy talk about this particular tape before he went to the Today Show.
Well,
so it's kind of like you knew what was going on.
And
folks.
Melania Trump is glad that they did keep it in because she thinks that people like Billy Bush are egging on her husband. So it's not just her husband's fault.
How would you know
that? I sat down with her for the very first interview since that Billy Bush video was released. Watch.
Those words, they were offensive to me and they were inappropriate. And he apologized to me, and I accept his apology, and we are moving on.
From a woman's perspective, what were your thoughts when you heard those tapes?
This is not the man that I know. This is, we could see, as I always said, as my husband said as well, for a successful businessman, entrepreneur, entertainer, that he did so much in his life, being in so many shows, so many tapes. It's very hard to run for a public office. And he did it anyway. He said, I want to help American people. I want to keep America safe. I want to bring back jobs, bring back economy. So our children, our future will be the best way possible.
What do you say to women that are watching, women voters, female voters, that haven't been able to get past it? What do you say to them? What's your message to women?
My husband is kind, he's a gentleman, he cares about people, he cares about women, he pushes them to the best level they could be. He gives them a chance to prosper in his organization and in his campaign. And he's not the man.
And there's the border, and there's us.
That's a long space for a wall.
It's going to be a lot of bricks.
Meanwhile, this morning, it is official. Billy Bush reportedly fired from the Today Show after NBC executives threw him under the bus in a covert attempt to derail the Trump train.
Well, this morning, Melania Trump speaks out for the very first time since that 2005 videotape was released. I had an opportunity to visit Trump Tower yesterday for the exclusive one-on-one interview.
Excellent.
Melania, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Of course, welcome.
You're married to someone running for President of the United States of America.
Well, it was quite an amazing year and a half. It was a lot of excitement and a lot of drama, and we're just enjoying it. You know, I'm very strong, I'm very confident, and I could handle everything. But what I will not allow, people saying lies about me, saying lies about my family, my husband, and I file a lawsuit, and I will file till the end because I will not allow that.
What lie made you the most upset, and how would you like to set the record straight?
The lie was that I was working as an escort, what is not true, and it's just terrible what's going on out there.
Is that a double standard with the mainstream media?
It is a double standard, and I see that mainstream media, they want to damage my family and my husband's campaign.
There were some reports about your immigration issue and how you got into this country when you started modeling here, your visa, becoming a U.S. citizen. What are the facts?
The facts are that I always obey the law. I have all the documents. I have very clean past. I would never stay here on the as undocumented.
I think all women in America felt for you and for what you went through, and just all the allegations of these women coming forward. What was your reaction?
I was not surprised in one way, because as I said before, everything was organized. Why now? Why 3 weeks before the election? And what they're accusing my husband, that is not the person that I know.
What is your message to these women?
That all the allegations should be handled in a court of law, and without the evidence. To accuse somebody, is a man or a woman, it's damaging and it's unfair.
When he came out, he apologized immediately on that. I think the tape was released on Friday. He immediately came out and he said, I said it, I was wrong, and I apologized.
Those words, they were offensive to me, and they were inappropriate. And he apologized to me, and I accept his apology. And we are moving on.
So what do you say to women that are watching, women voters, female voters, that haven't been able to get past it?
My husband is kind, he's a gentleman, he cares about people, he cares about women. He's not the man that we heard him on the tape. Many times I gave him an advice and I didn't agree to do all the tapes on Howard Stern with Billy Bush, because I know those people, they hook him on. They try to get from him some inappropriate and dirty language.
When he decided to run, is it true that you were pushing him to do that? And did y'all have a conversation like, okay, some of these things might come out, some pictures, some conversations. How did you handle that as a couple?
We talked about it. His life was open book. A lot of people know about it. My husband, he's raw and he's real. And he tells it as it is.
What do you think about becoming First Lady of the United States if Donald Trump does win? What do you envision?
In 21st century, it's very important now. We see social media. It can be very, very bad. I see negativity that children go through. And it's really sad. And I would focus on that.
What do you think of Hillary Clinton?
I think she's fighting. But I see it's like a Clinton machine behind it. And they are playing politically correct game, and they are protected very well.
There are a lot of people that want to hear more from you.
Well, it was my decision not to be on the campaign trail. My priority is our son, and I want to be a mother first.
I wanted to ask you about the debate. What is your advice to Donald Trump?
Just to be himself, keep it calm, cool, focus, and to talk about issues that American people want to hear about.
That's great advice. You know, that's a real eye-opener, seeing her, because she's such a big part of his life, and the way she looked at the, you know, the various tapes that have popped up and the women who
You know
made the
what I take from it? She wants to win. At first I thought she was like, okay, if you want it, you can have it. I think she, watching that, I go, wow, she really wants to win.
Right. I walked into that apartment thinking I was going to she wasn't going to be as strong as she is.
Yeah.
She's extremely strong, and I loved her answer. She said, no one tells me what to do. No one tells me where I'm going to be on the campaign trail. I'm a mother first, and that's why I'm not out there.
Right. And that's why she collapsed her jewelry line. She just said, hey, you know what? I'd rather be with my son.
Yeah.
Why did I become a parent?